Here's a review of the 2016 Infiniti QX80. Is it even getting in the camera, guys? This car is huge. I like it quite a bit for what it is. It's a great competitor to our LX. But hit that subscribe button. See you in the comments down below, and let's get into the intro. Here is the QX80. This is a 2016. For 2017, it was updated, it was refreshed. I did a little bit of research on this vehicle beforehand, not as much as I would like to, but this is a second generation. It's been around for a while now. I believe it's 2013 or 2014, they renamed it. So it used to be called the QX56, and the first generation was based off the Nissan Armada. Now this vehicle is actually based off what's called the Nissan Patrol. So in other markets, I guess the Patrol is just a much nicer vehicle than the Armada. I always thought that this second generation was just a nicer Armada, but in fact it's actually called a Nissan Patrol in other markets. So let's get into the styling of this bad boy. And this pearl white, I call it the Stay Puft Marshmallow. I think it looks good. If I was to get this car, I would get it in white for sure. It helps the car out, in my opinion. I saw a gray, pearl gray green one earlier, and it looked okay. But I like this white one quite a bit better. It makes the car look newer, in my opinion, and it doesn't show the dirt nearly as much as some of the gray ones do. The light assembly looks really good, guys, in my opinion. This has been completely updated though for the 2017, 2018 models, but I don't think this looks outdated at all. I like the design here of the lights, like I just said, the fog lights, and then this grille looks decent. It's a little cheap, it's a little plasticky, but I think it looks good. The huge Infiniti sign works really well with the hugeness of this vehicle overall. So pretty impressed. You have some blinding chrome mirrors. Look how reflective this chrome mirror is. I wish it was all black, or maybe the pearl white paint here. It's unfortunate, but you know what? You're not going to chip your paint on this. That's the good thing. You're not going to get paint coming off rocks coming off the road and chipping up your mirror. So I don't mind that. I kind of understand where they're coming from. These wheels are freaking ginormous. My guess is this is a 21-inch wheel. Let's get down. Let's see if we can find... Oh, it's a 22. Shut the front door. So this is sitting on 275 by 50 by 22s. So they're like, screw you, Lexus. The best wheel you guys can put on your vehicle, the factory is a 21. And, the reason for that is because the LX being the more refined version of the Toyota Land Cruiser, it's still a Land Cruiser at its heart. So Toyota Lexus is probably like, if you need to take this thing off-road, we don't want to put too big of wheels on there. We want to give you as much tire as we can. But you know what? These guys went out because they're not going for the off-roaders here. They're going for the upper middle class family that has a bajillion kids, and then they tow a boat or a camper on the weekends. And you don't need big wheels for that if you're not doing that much off-roading. This vehicle is well known for this little insert here. I don't like it at all. I think it looks cheesy. If it just wasn't there, I think this car would look better. In my opinion, that's the number one thing holding back the styling, but that's completely subjective. I like how they're not shy of showing, hey, we got a big bad V8 in here, 5.6 liter. This thing's got 400 horsepower, over 400 foot-pounds of torque. So I really like the motor in this car. I give it an A, as long as it's reliable, as it probably is. It probably is. Is it reliable as an LX? No, but nothing really is in terms of SUVs around the world. These doors are enormous, as you would expect, and all the windows are tinted and they look really good. I just like the look of this vehicle overall. Do I like it better than the LX that we have? No, I think the LX exudes a little bit more class and luxury, and it has harder lines on it, but I think this car still looks good. It definitely looks like a Nissan in my opinion, but I still think it looks good. Roof rack, a little aluminum roof rack up there if you guys need to put some extra storage, if you need more storage, or a canoe or a kayak. And looking at the back here, guys, the Stay Puft Marshmallow looks extra big back here. Chrome below the license plate and above the license plate, and then you have a nice Infiniti logo above that. And the world's smallest, it's not the world's smallest, I've seen smaller, but this is pretty darn small. Okay, so they probably couldn't put much bigger one on there, but for the size of the windshield, the wiper's actually really small. And then this is common, I don't like it. They should have just put, you know, some sort of you know, polyurethane film on top of the bumper here, because this plastic, it looks like garbage in my opinion. And then you have your hitch cover here in the back. But overall, guys, I do like the styling of this vehicle. I would give it probably a B overall, and not bad Infiniti and Nissan. Let's find the hood latch, guys. The hood latch is actually under here. It wasn't very hard to find. I found it very quickly. So let's pop that. I'm sure the hood is just as large as this obnoxious behind with the rear hatch. Ugh. Okay, nice job. Nice job, Infiniti. You did a great job with the engine cover. I like that they're proud of it. It's a V8. There's actually a little bit of detail there surrounding the V8 and the Infiniti logo. Lets you know it's a V8 because there's 4 fake cylinder covers there on each side. So V8. Great access to the battery, A+, nice job. Everything's laid out here very well, and I'd give it an A+. Not bad, Infiniti, not bad at all. Let's get in the inside of the 2016 QX80, also known as 80. Let's turn this bad boy on. It's a little warm in here. Start button is right here. So you can see the screens. Huge gauges. Those are some of the biggest gauges I've ever seen. I think they look pretty good, very easy to read. Navigation screen is fairly bright. There's probably a way to make it brighter. It doesn't look too complicated, and I'm assuming it's a touch screen. Map menu. It is a touch screen. It is kind of far away. Like, I have to lean forward out of my driving position to get to places on the touch screen. Let's just go back to standard map there. I'm not going to get too much into the screen. Okay. Wow. Oh gosh. Okay. I'm not going to mess with that at all, guys, because I could spend a lot of time there, and I don't want to spend too much time in the electronics. Electronics in most vehicles are very similar. So let's try to find where the climate control is. So Infiniti has this weird oblong clock here. Don't know why they do that. But it does have a nice little Infiniti logo in the middle. So we're going to turn this on. Climate control's down here. And the dual is over there as well. So it is in auto mode. And I don't know, here we go. Let's see here. Guys, this is not very straightforward. Not very straightforward. So this obviously changes the temperature. Fans are here. Goodness gracious, I'm just a little slow. Air conditioning is not on. Let's hit that button. Let's turn it on. AC is blowing it nice and gently, enough to get me cooled down. So let's go over the interior of this car. The seat is very comfortable. It's large and in charge, as you would expect in a vehicle that's this enormous. Okay. So the seat design, in my opinion, it looks kind of cheap, and I'm used to seeing Lexus. So everything I'm going to compare in this vehicle is going to be to an LX. An LX 570, probably a 2018, even though yesterday I just did a review on the 2007. I'm going to do, I'm going to compare everything to that car. So stitching is okay in this, on the seats. These seats seem a little outdated, even though this is a 2016. The design on the door is very basic. There's not a whole lot of art going on. It is fully leather, but it's not the most impressive interior. I do like this handle here. It's a nice and strong handle. We have a beautiful wood trim all the way across. So it stops at the steering wheel cluster, and it continues over there above the passenger airbag. back to the left side here, we're gonna have our window controls that are all automatic, which is a nice, as it should be. You have 2 memory settings here. We have, I don't know what that is. It looks like some sort of proximity alarm. So if something gets close to the car, it's gonna be there. You have your blind spot monitor. And it's not doing anything. I don't see anything in the car notifying me that it's on or off. So that is what it is, because you know there's a light here to let you know, hey, this alarm system's on. There should be a light here to let you know this blind spot monitor is active, but nothing is going off. So okay, weird. Power door in the back, on or off. There's a switch for that. I do like these vents. These vents are very old school, yet very usable. We do have a Bose sound system in here. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's kind of dark inside the cabin. So back to the steering wheel and the gauge cluster here. So these are some of the largest gauges I've ever seen, which I would expect in one of the largest vehicles I've ever been in. This particular vehicle has about 51,000 miles, as you can see. You have some temperature information there. So backing up, guys, backing up, what do we have here on the steering wheel? And it looks like this screen in the middle is not adjustable in any way. So that's unfortunate. Radio controls over here, as well as phone controls. And then over here you have cruise control. It's nice that it has radar cruise control. I dig. And then we have, wow, okay, so this button here, guys, this just did it all. This one button. So you know how we have this button down here that I was talking about, like, hey, blind spot monitor. It still doesn't do anything. So what I did is I press this button, okay? And when I press this button, lane keep assist or lane departure warning. My guess is that's I can't say exactly, but it's one of those two or both. And then you have your blind spot monitor down here. When I press this button again, it turns it back off. Okay. DCA, do you guys know what DCA is? I don't know what DCA is, because that popped up when I pressed the button. So back to the center here. It would take some getting used to, just because this is a different language than my Lexus vehicle, so I'm not quite used to that. We have a huge speaker up here for the Bose system. Coming back down, speaking of that Bose system, which I'm surprised they don't have like Bose written here. Look at this space that they didn't put anything. They should be proud of their Bose. Instead of just putting it on the speakers themselves, put it on the dash, guys. Make it look special. Everything here is pretty simple, pretty well laid out. Going down below, very well labeled here. I don't know what this button is going to do. We're going to press it. Oh gosh. Did you guys see that? Here, I'm going to press this other button so you guys can see how violent this seat folds down. Goodness gracious. Well, now the third row, guys, if you want to sit in the third row, you'd be able to like lounge, man. Seriously lounge. It's kind of cool that you have those buttons there, but man, it's not very well implemented. I can throw it back. Can I do this from the driver? Nope. I would have to be in the back seat to put these back up. Or I just stretch out my long frame and do it myself. But I'd highly recommend you guys just get in the back and do that. Okay, so bizarre place for you to put these folding down seat buttons, but okay. We have ventilated and cool seat knobs here. Onto the shifter. Strange chrome insert here and around here, but at least we have leather there. And then we have our four-wheel drive controls. Snow mode, traction control, tow mode. It's nice. This car can pull quite a bit with its 400 horsepower. Over 400 pound-foot of torque. We have a single USB connection here. You can close that. And then here are your drives. Again, guys, this has a 7-speed transmission. Not bad, not bad. Here are your cup holders. This is removable. You got some yummy stuff underneath. Okay, let's put that back down. Another 12 volt. Like I said, we have one up there in the middle. When this is all folded up, it actually looks pretty clean. Pretty clean, not bad. And I love how the wood continues up the dash. Pretty old school, great luxury in my opinion. Okay, so inside here, who uses red, white, and yellow connections anymore? What is that, composite? Is that a composite connection? And then you have your plug-in control if you want to control the plug-in, probably somewhere in the back, which I have not got yet, but there's a good amount of space in here. We're gonna open up, this should open here. Okay, let me pause. I don't know if this opens up. This container here, it looks like it totally opens up, but I don't know how to get in there. It might not open up either. It just looks like this is a huge pillow armrest that looks like it should open. Oh, all it does is slide forward. That's pretty lame. That's unfortunate. They could have had better space here, inside here, instead of just making it a slidable armrest. Slidable armrest, guys. Who does that? Who does that anymore? Looking up, very cheap looking lights here. A little disappointed. You have your sunglass holder here. This is one of the largest visors I've ever seen. It does not have the sliding control for the brightness of this light. A little disappointed. How's my hair today, guys? Is it okay? I think it looks pretty decent. Pretty decent. I'd give it a B+, maybe an A-. Let's close this. I mean, it does not telescope here, but you have this additional plastic piece that's going to cover everything. Not like the LX yesterday that had a double visor. Okay, so very small sunroof here. You can see the plastic cover here actually covers up a lot of your sunroof. So this is actually the small, I would give that maybe 8 to 10 inches of visible sunroof, which is kind of lame. Let's open it up right here. And just as lame, because this bug catcher here is catching most of the sky as well. Should be called a sky catcher. So we're gonna close this up, and that's gonna round it out. Well, let's check out the glove box. Large glove box. I don't know how much stuff you can fit in there. The door is huge, but not necessarily the space of the glove box is very huge. Let's get in the back of this bad boy. Now remember when I flipped the seat up with that button up there, that oddly placed button in the front? The door is pretty much the exact same as it is in front, but it does not have the Bose insignia here on the speaker in the back. A good amount of space down there for a drink. But let's get in. I like the bar here to pull yourself in. Lots of space back here, guys, and this is just as comfortable as the front seat, which I've come to expect so far in most cars. Good map pocket. Actually, this is lined with like a foam, so I kind of like the touch of it. You have like I think it's a 7-inch screen, non-touchscreen, 7-inch entertainment screen back here. Now this particular model has captain seats, so we sacrifice one seat in the middle here, but we have a triple seater in the back for someone really small, maybe like a 7-year-old for that middle seat. But back to these seats now. They're comfortable, they are big. Let's see if they recline. Oh yeah, they recline very well. I could take a good nap in here. So there's a little lever on the side, kind of in the back by your hip. That's where the lever is to fold this seat backwards for a little bit more reclining room. You have heated rear seats for the captain seats. You know, when you get the bench seat back here, I wouldn't be surprised if you don't have heated seats, but this is the first time I've been in this QX80. So we have triple zone climate control. You have 2 up there, you have 1 down here. You could do auto, you can increase the fans for the passengers. It's a nice little feature. This looks like it's just a cover up for I don't know what should be there, but in other models I'm sure they put something down here. Again, for 2016, for you to have component or composite, whatever it is, hookups, that's a little disappointing. At least we have, guys, this is huge though, 150 watt plug-in. You can plug in a laptop back here, big socket, 120 watts, so you could put whatever you want in there, really charge anything you could imagine. It'd be nice if there's some USB ports back here. The only USB port that I saw was way up there behind the shifter. We have some small cup holders, but they are adjustable. So you can see this folds down and it greatly enlarges your cup holder capacity. And then let's open this up, and you're just gonna have lots of space in here. Now this might actually be larger than this one here in terms of space. So not bad, not bad. I do like the wood accent here. It's pretty simple in the back, which I don't mind. And I love this. Guys, look at these vents. You have full control over 2 different vents. So if you want it on your face and one on your crotch, you have that option. Cheap light and switch here, feels kind of cheap, but you have that. Right to the left of my head here, above the headrest, there's another vent, which is great. And then you have this vent as well. This might be a suck-in vent. And I can't even pull this down. I don't want to break it. It won't even let me pull that down. Okay, so guys, let's get into the third row and just get a feel of what it's like back there. Okay, so when I pulled this lever here, it did the whole seat again, which I think is a nice little feature. I don't know how well it'll hold up over time, but I can get in here so easily. So easily. Close the door, fold the seat down. It latches super easy. I pull this back. Oh, don't miss, because if you miss, guys, it folds all the way up again. So I have a great amount of space back here. This seat is bizarre with how it's set up. So how I'm sitting on it is that my low back is here and my middle back has like this huge pad sitting into it. I don't think it's adjustable. Oh, it is adjustable. So when you're sitting back here, you're gonna have to move this thing all the way up. So you don't have it. Oh, that's way better. So you don't have that huge pad just like sticking into your back. You wouldn't have that issue on this middle one here. But you know what these look like? These look like the droids from Star Wars Episode 1. Do you guys see the resemblance? Am I crazy or am I just seeing things? But we have some droid seats back here, and they are actually pretty comfortable. Not quite as comfortable as the first row and the second row, but you know, I have lots of leg space back here. If I was the only person back here, man, I could rock in this all day long. Even if there's a second person, when you get 3 people, it'd be a little bit tight, but you know, it's not that bad. If you have 5 kids, 6 kids, they would be comfortable in here. So let's look at what the storage is with the third row seat up. It's not great, as you would expect. You have those magic buttons here that are probably going to rocket the seats forward like it did the second row. And then you have another 12 volt back here where you can plug in your cell phones. But that's about it for the Android seats in the third row. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, you have switches back here. Okay. Big drink, little drink. Seat button again. Does this car really have okay, oh, okay, now we know. So for some reason I was thinking this controls this here. This is pushing my seat forward, so I'm sitting more upright. And that's gonna give you more storage in the back, because you can see the seat here is closer to the rear hatch. So that's odd that you have this is the first time I've ever seen electronic third row seating, which you can lay all the way back for comfort. Let me see here what it does. Let me fold this down real quick. Let's see what it does when, see how on this button it can fold all the way up, or it claims to be able to fold all the way up. Let's see what happens. Okay, so this is electronic. So the third row is electric seating. Third row is electric seating. The second row is not an electric motorized, but they engineered it fairly well where you hit that button and the whole seat just like, it's like a huge spring that launches the seat forward. It's a little obnoxious, but it gets the job done. Back here, this is how you fold the seat down. And then I don't know why that is there and there. You see that? So we have 2 switches to control the back seats. I don't know. I guess when you're sitting in it allows you to sit farther back, or you know, more upright if you need more capacity back there. This is kind of odd thing. I think it's a little unnecessary, but it is what it is. Let's get in the rear hatch. I have to show you the rocket ship seat again. So Okay, ready for me to let go? Okay, there it is. All right, let's get in the very, very back. Okay, this thing looks like a mountain on the back of it. On the LX, here's an LX, and you can see, okay, this is what, 2014, I think. You can see how like it, you know, there's some slope to it. This car just looks like a big marshmallow. This is the marshmallow of vehicles. There's the QX80 emblem. We're gonna press the button. Okay. That is the largest hatch I think I've ever seen. It is. There's no doubt that is the largest hatch, because in the LX they separate it. You actually have a tailgate on the LX. So getting back here, I forgot to fold down my Android head, Star Wars Episode 1 Android head, and then we're going to fold the left one forward. I'll let you guys watch that process, and you can kind of guess how long it takes for it to do it. But it folds down pretty flat, and I'm impressed. It kind of sinks down. The part in which you sit on sinks down quite a bit. Now, when you fold that seat forward, you don't have this, well, hold on, let me pause. Okay, so I just folded the seats flat. Now you can fold the seats like they were, where they're sitting against the driver and the front passenger seat. But with the seats folded down, it's kind of at this slant, like it slowly goes up, and this middle thing is sticking out higher than everything else, the armrest there. Tons of space, guys. This car's super wide. I like it so far. I haven't got in here to drive it yet, so that's what we're gonna do right now. So let's get this party started. So I'm backing out of the parking lot right now. There is a 360-degree view on this car while I'm backing up. The backup camera is extremely low resolution. I'm almost appalled by how low resolution it is. So, wow, okay. There's a lady here that might need to be helped, so I'm gonna go help her real quick. I don't know if she's working with anyone. Hold on a quick sec. All right, you gotta love people. She was looking for her old salesman that's no longer here, and I was willing to help her, but she didn't even want to make eye contact with me. She said she's looking for a car that doesn't exist. I'm like, ma'am, surely it exists unless you made it up. I didn't say that, but I'm like, oh, it exists. We can find it for you, but God bless her. God bless her. Hopefully she finds what she's looking for, and if she needs my help along the way, I'd be happy to help her find this Jeez! Backup camera works. Just know that. So I'm backing up this car, guys. I have no confidence backing up this car. Actually, I do. I have quite a bit of confidence, but it is the Stay Puft Marshmallow guy in terms of backing up this car. Oh gosh, I don't even. Hopefully, I didn't hit the LX. I didn't hit the LX, guys. I didn't hit the LX. So we're gonna take this guy out for a drive and see what she's all about. The steering is very light. In an LX, the steering is pretty heavy, which I like, but I don't mind this lighter steering. It just feels kind of weird, but it stays with the theme of this car, in my opinion, which is a Stay Puft Marshmallow. It's big, it's fluffy. Gosh, the steering's so light. It's big, it's fluffy. There's lots of room. It takes up lots of room, and let's get on the throttle a bit. This engine's phenomenal in terms of power. Great get up and go. So far, very happy with how the throttle response works. How this engine has lots of life in it. I was in a 2007 LX yesterday with only about 275 horsepower. This has about 125 more horsepower. So it is nice to get in modern vehicles for, you know, the technological upgrades when it comes to engine technology and transmission technology. I was complaining in that car that I had a 4-speed transmission with an overdrive, so technically a 5-speed. Oh my gosh. This car can move when it's empty. I'm sure it can pull. I looked up online, I think it can pull like 8,500 pounds. So if you guys need a fairly reasonable car, I mean, this this thing is a bargain compared to the LX 570. I'll be able to pull up the prices for you, the entry prices. The LX is around 85,000. This car is probably around 65,000, but I'll pull up the MSRPs. But this engine is very strong. It has, on paper, it has more horsepower than the LX does. The LX has like almost 400 horsepower. This has 400 horsepower, so they're very close. You know, I'm always going to trust a Toyota Lexus engine, and I can't even get over, guys. This car is so big, I can't even get over to the interstate. And for some reason, traffic right now is like rush hour. I guess it's lunchtime, but usually I have no problem getting onto the interstate. A little bit of traffic and a little bit of Stay Puft Marshmallow syndrome. So I'm going to take a U-turn here. Oh, I better not right now. Okay. I do like the blind spot monitor on this car, and I think it actually works better in some ways than our Lexus product. Hey, there's a QX80 right in front of me. I'm not going to make the camera show you, but it's like this dark gray that almost looks green. Pretty cool. I like this white one particularly, but because it reminds me of the Stay Puft Marshmallow, right? But the blind spot monitor, guys, it's right above the, ooh, here we go, U-turn. How's it going to U-turn? Corolla, don't think about pulling out in front of me. I will run over you. Oh yeah, acceleration, guys, is really good on this car. And like I said, this engine is just impressing me. And it mated with the 7-speed transmission. I think it's match made in heaven. But back to the blind spot monitor, it works really well because it's inside the car instead of outside the car on the mirror. So I'm going to get on the throttle here, getting onto the freeway. Damn! Dang! I like it. So, you know, I was just praising the transmission. I take that back. It downshifted. Well, it took like 5 seconds to downshift, it felt. Let's see if you guys can tell. So I'm going here at 55 miles an hour. I'm going to get into the throttle. 3, 2, 1 now. It took a bit. It's a little lazy. It's not nearly as smooth as the 2007 LX I was in yesterday. That transmission was a 10 out of 10 A+. I would give this transmission probably like a B. And this car in general, to me, just seems like a B. The interior, it's huge, it's spacious, it's comfortable, but it's not the most luxurious feeling. Nor are the features. It just doesn't scream luxury like our LX line does. I mean, even the seats in our 2007 LX 470, that car's seats were more comfortable, and they looked far superior just in terms of look and feel. But you know, LX is the king. It's the king in terms of quality and refinement, whereas this car is the better seller because it's cheaper and does everything almost as well. The engine, I would say, is right up there with the LX's, as long as it's just as reliable. Road noise is really low. I'm very pleased with the road noise. Excuse me. There aren't that many trucks or anything passing me right now, but I don't hear a whole lot of wind noise, and there definitely could be. I barely heard that Highlander pass me, so I would give this probably an A for road noise or lack thereof, because it's a pretty quiet ride, and I'm very pleased with it. It's not quite as smooth in terms of road feel when I'm just going in a straight line here on the highway. It's not quite as smooth as a ride as the LX. It's just a little bit more vibration and bumpiness in the car. So I'd give it probably like a B in terms of smoothness, where the LX is obviously an A+. That car's nuts. Visibility is good. I'd probably give it an A. I mean, I can see everything very well. Unfortunately, this doesn't have a panoramic sunroof, which you might be able to get on higher trims of this vehicle. I would give visibility probably like a B plus or an A. If the sunroof was bigger and allowed for more light in the cabin, then yes, I would give it an A, but it's still really good. I just noticed there are no paddle shifters in this car. I don't know if it can come with paddle shifters, but I try to get around this garage truck here on the freeway, and it was going about 50 and the speed limit's 65, and you know, I hit the throttle. Again, it took a half second to get into the gear below, then another half second to get in the right gear, which is another gear below that. So you spend about a second or so shifting to the right gear, then it takes off just fine, right? Because this engine, like I said, has plenty of power, plenty of get up, but this transmission's just a little lethargic. We're getting into our braking test here, guys, getting off the freeway, going downhill, so it's a great way to test brakes. Except this F-150, whoa! Guys, what's happening right now is the car's automatically braking off of the freeway. Now I'm getting into the brakes myself, but it automatically applied the brakes and slowed down the car on the freeway, getting off the freeway, which is an amazing safety feature. And if you know you're a mom and you have 17 kids in the back of this thing, and they're just like screaming and yelling or whatever, then yeah, I think that's amazing. If you don't always have your full attention. But I couldn't even test the brakes in this car with someone in front of me, because the car automatically applies the brakes when it sees someone stopping out in the distance. There's another QX80. Actually, that one's a 2017 with the updated headlights and updated grille. I bet the interior might be updated as well, but the car is pretty much unchanged. But yeah, the car automatically applies the brakes. Now, I don't know if that's something you can enable or disable. I think it's a great safety feature, but it did apply them very early on. It was almost like autonomous braking, guys. Like, if I wasn't going to do my braking test and apply the brakes late, it applied the brakes when I normally would have. So Infiniti did a really good job with this automatic braking system, but if I was driving, I would turn it off. But I would see it would be great there for parents who have kids jumping around like monkeys in the back. Okay, so handling test. It took this first turn very, very well, but now here's a real test. The hairpin going uphill, a little slow to turn in, but not as much body roll as I was expecting. Okay, excellent. I would give the handling on this vehicle an A+, for the size of it. I have no qualms. It's very, very good. It's unfortunate that you don't have an ability that I know of to tighten the suspension so you can make it as soft or as hard as you want, but this standard tuning of the suspension is very good. It's a good combination of handling and comfort. So nice job, Infiniti, with the QX80 with the handling department. But we've arrived at our final destination, in which we shall sum up the vehicle, do our intros and outros, and drive this car back to its resting place there on the lot. Thanks for joining me along with the beautiful QX. It's the Stay Puft Marshmallow. If you think that's beautiful, it is what it is. The QX80. It's a great, huge people mover with a little bit of luxury from Infiniti. It's a great vehicle. If you're in the market for it, I'd give it a solid B+ overall. And it's a great competitor to the Lexus LX. Not quite as refined as that vehicle, but this does a great job and hits most boxes most people are going to be looking for.